You know that feeling when you catch yourself doing something and think, wait, am I the only one who does this? That moment when you realize maybe there's a reason you always run late, or why you can't help but check your phone every 5 minutes, or why certain people drain you while others fill you up with energy. Here's the thing, you're not weird, you're not broken, and you're definitely not alone. It's human behavior. The way we think, act, and react follows patterns that psychologists have been studying for decades. And some of these patterns are so universal, so deeply wired into our brains that they show up in almost everyone everywhere in ways we don't even realize. Today, we're diving into 25 fascinating facts about human behavior that will make you look at yourself and the people around you in a completely different light. These aren't just random trivia. These are insights that explain why you do what you do, why you feel what you feel, and why understanding these patterns might just change the way you navigate your relationships, your work, and your entire life. Let's start with something you probably do every single day without even thinking about it. The average person lies between 10 to 200 times a day. Now, before you protest and say you're not a liar, hear me out. Most of these aren't big, malicious lies. They're those tiny social lies we tell to keep the peace, to avoid awkwardness, to protect someone's feelings. You tell your friend their new haircut looks great when you're not sure it does. You say you're 5 minutes away when you haven't even left yet. You tell your boss you're feeling fine when you're actually exhausted and overwhelmed. These micro-lies are so embedded in social interaction that we don't even register them as dishonesty anymore. They're survival mechanisms, ways we navigate the complex web of human relationships without constant conflict. But here's what's interesting. The frequency and type of lies you tell can actually reveal a lot about your personality, your insecurities, and how you were taught to handle uncomfortable truths as a child. If you grew up in an environment where honesty was punished, or where expressing your real feelings meant rejection, you might have learned that lying, even in small ways, keeps you safe. And that pattern, once formed, becomes automatic. Now, let's talk about something that might surprise you. People who swear often are usually more honest. Yes, you read that right. Multiple studies have shown that people who curse regularly tend to be more genuine, more direct, and less likely to engage in serious deception. Why? Because swearing is often a sign of emotional authenticity. When you swear, you're not filtering, you're not polishing your words to sound more acceptable. You're expressing exactly what you feel in that moment. People who are constantly watching their language, constantly moderating every word that comes out of their mouth, are also more likely to be moderating their truth. Now, this doesn't mean you should start cursing in every conversation to prove you're honest. But it does mean that those raw, unfiltered moments when a curse word slips out are often the moments when someone is being their most real self. If you've ever felt guilty about swearing, if you've internalized shame around using those words, Maybe it's worth examining where that shame came from and whether it's serving you or just making you hide parts of yourself that are perfectly human. Here's another one that might hit close to home. Talking to yourself isn't a sign of madness. It's actually a sign of intelligence. If you've ever caught yourself having full conversations in your head or even out loud when you're alone and felt a little embarrassed about it, let me ease your mind. Self-talk is one of the most powerful cognitive tools humans have. When you talk through a problem out loud, when you narrate what you're doing, you're actually engaging multiple areas of your brain simultaneously, which helps with focus, memory, and problem solving. Athletes do it before competitions. Surgeons do it during complex procedures. Writers do it when they're stuck on a sentence. It's not weird. It's effective. What's more, the way you talk to yourself reveals everything about your internal world. If your self-talk is critical, harsh, constantly pointing out your mistakes, that's a learned pattern, probably from childhood, probably from voices that told you that you weren't good enough. But self-talk can be changed. You can literally rewire your brain by choosing different words, kinder words, when you speak to yourself. And if you're someone who already practices positive self-talk, keep going, because you're doing something that most people never learn to do. You're being your own best friend instead of your own worst critic. Let's shift gears to something visual. People with messy handwriting often have incredibly active minds. You know those people whose notes look like a tornado went through their notebook. They're not careless. They're not lazy. Their brains are just moving faster than their hands can keep up. Messy handwriting is frequently associated with high intelligence and creativity, because the person writing is so focused on the ideas, on the concepts, on the connections they're making, that the physical act of writing becomes secondary. Their hand is just trying to capture the speed of their thoughts, and sometimes it can't. Now, this doesn't mean that neat handwriting equals a slow mind. Not at all. But it does mean that if you've ever been judged for your messy writing, if teachers marked you down for it, if you felt less than because your letters don't look perfect, understand that your brain might just be operating at a frequency that makes neat handwriting irrelevant. What matters is what's being said, not how pretty it looks on the page. Here's something about your sleep schedule that might explain a lot. People who stay up late are more likely to be intelligent, creative, and have higher IQ. Night owls have been pathized for so long, labeled as lazy or undisciplined. But science tells a different story. Staying up late is linked to novelty-seeking behavior, to thinking outside conventional patterns, to questioning norms rather than blindly following them. In evolutionary terms, the people who stayed awake at night while everyone else slept were the ones keeping watch, the ones thinking differently, the ones whose minds wouldn't turn off just because the sun went down. If you're a night owl, if you've spent your whole life fighting against your natural rhythm to fit into a world that glorifies waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning, know this: Your brain isn't broken, it's just wired differently. And forcing yourself to function on a schedule that doesn't match your biology can lead to chronic stress, exhaustion, and a feeling that you're always swimming against the current. Maybe the problem isn't you, maybe it's the expectation. Now, let's talk about something that almost everyone does and almost no one does. Well, multitasking doesn't make you efficient. It makes you less productive. The human brain isn't designed to focus on multiple complex tasks simultaneously. What we call multitasking is actually task switching. And every time you switch from one task to another, your brain has to reorient, which costs you time and energy. Studies show that multitasking can reduce productivity by up to 40%. 40%, that's almost half your effectiveness gone because you're trying to do too many things at once. But here's why we keep doing it. Multitasking feels productive. It gives us the illusion of being busy, of getting things done. And in a culture that worships busyness, that feeling becomes addictive. We'd rather feel busy than actually be effective. And if you're someone who prides yourself on being able to juggle 10 things at once, I want you to ask yourself, are you really doing all those things well, or are you just doing all of them halfway? Because doing one thing fully with complete attention will always yield better results than doing 5 things poorly. Let's talk about a behavior that feels deeply personal. When you're attracted to someone, your pupils dilate. This isn't something you can control. It's an automatic physiological response. When you look at someone you find attractive, your pupils expand to take in more of them, to see them more clearly. And here's the wild part. Other people can sense this, even if they don't consciously realize it. Dilated pupils make you appear more attractive to others because they signal interest, openness, warmth. It's one of those micro-signals that humans pick up on without knowing why. So, if you've ever locked eyes with someone and felt that instant spark, part of what you were feeling was this primal biological response happening in both of you at once. Your bodies knew before your minds did. Here's something about decision that might frustrate you. When you're faced with too many options, you're more likely to make no decision at all. This is called choice paralysis, and it's why scrolling through Netflix for 30 minutes trying to pick a movie often ends with you giving up and watching nothing. The human brain can only process so much information before it shuts down. When you're presented with 20 different cereal options, 50 types of shampoo, or 100 potential partners on a dating app, your brain gets overwhelmed. Ironically, having more choices makes you less satisfied with whatever you eventually choose, because you're left wondering if one of the other 99 options would have been better. If you've ever felt paralyzed by too many possibilities, if you've ever struggled to make a simple decision because there were too many variables, it's not a personal failing, it's a biological limit. Your brain is doing the best it can with an overload of information it was never designed to handle. Let's dive into something about human connection. People tend to forget what you said, forget what you did, but they'll never forget how you made them feel. This is one of the most fundamental truths about human psychology. We are emotional creatures first, logical creatures second. You can say all the right words, do all the right things, but if the feeling underneath those actions is cold, distant, or manipulative, people will sense it and they'll remember it. On the flip side, you can stumble over your words, make mistakes, be imperfect, but if you make someone feel seen, heard, valued, safe, they will remember you forever. This is why some people stay in your heart years after you've lost touch, and why others fade from memory even though you saw them every day. It's not about what happened, it's about how it felt. And if you want to matter to people, if you want to create real connections, focus less on being perfect and more on being present. Because presence, true presence, is the most powerful gift you can give anyone. Here's a quirky one. The more you hide your feelings, the more intense they become. Emotions don't just disappear because you ignore them. They build, they fester, they find other ways out. If you're someone who prides yourself on staying calm, on never showing weakness, on always keeping it together, I need you to hear this. That control comes at a cost. Suppressed emotions don't vanish. They transform into anxiety, physical pain, explosive outbursts, or chronic numbness. Your body keeps the score even when your mind tries to forget. This is why people who seem like they have everything under control sometimes collapse out of nowhere. It's not sudden. It's been building for years. It's just that no one, including them, saw it coming because they were so good at hiding. If you've been taught that emotions are weakness, that vulnerability is dangerous, that showing how you really feel will get you hurt, please know that the real danger is in holding everything in until you break. Emotions need to move through you, not stay trapped inside you. And the people who seem the most emotionally healthy aren't the ones who never feel anything. They're the ones who let themselves feel everything and process it instead of burying it.